We're in Long Beach, California with ARC, and this is the ARC Sport. That was perfect. Behind me is the ARC Sport from ARC. We're here in Long Beach, California, the fully electric wake sporting boat. We're going to check it out, get a tour with our friend Mitch Lee, CEO of ARC, and it'll be a fun time. Come check it out with us.
Welcome aboard.
Dude, glad to be here.
I usually step here. It's a nice bar right
Dude, that looks chill.
I've done this once or twice before. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, tell us what we're looking at here, what we're sitting on.
So this is the ARC Sport. It's a fully electric 23-foot wake sport boat, 500 horsepower, wickedly fast. And we are excited to show it to you.
How fast can it go on the water?
We software limit it to 40 miles an hour.
Okay, because it can go much faster, right?
It gets a little dangerous above that. For wake sport boats, you want to be able to go fast enough to pull any type of skier. That is fast enough to do that. It's as fast as the fastest wake sport boats today. What really makes this boat special is the amount of torque that you have. So when you punch that throttle, it is incredibly responsive, and I mean, you'll see.
Oh my God. That is insane. I mean, like, we're just like holding up for dear. Is it like similar to like being in a Tesla whenever it goes to 0 to 60 and it's like, whoa.
We've done a lot to lean into that experience. And,
okay.
I mean, the best part of that is you're feeling that acceleration and also not hearing a lot of noise, not inhaling fumes, able to hold a conversation.
Yeah. I think we heard earlier, this boat's on right now, correct?
It's on.
Yeah. And there's negative sound.
Yeah, it's probably going to be hard to even hear at home, but like genuinely there's no sound at all, and this boat is on.
I can hear the birds around me. That's how quiet this boat is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a special experience, and we're excited to share it with you. So what CJ's gonna do here is he's gonna punch the throttle, go straight. We'll do a couple of turns just for you to get the feel of the boat.
Okay.
We'll bring it back down, stop, and then we'll open it up a little bit more.
Mind frame, Colton?
All right.
No.
Just get on this side.
Yeah.
Woo! That is insane. Cody, you're asking to fly off. It's like you do interviews this way. So as I was saying about
exactly. Yeah.
This is like any other boat.
I mean, we're going 40 miles an hour and holding a conversation at, you know, normal volume here.
In any other boat that's going this fast, I feel like I couldn't hear anybody.
So he's gonna do a turn right now.
Okay. Better hold on.
The boat also cuts through waves very nicely because it has a low center of gravity. It also has a pretty heavy dry weight.
Sorry about laugh. How fast do people usually go whenever someone's like wake surfing?
Wake surfing is usually at like 11.5 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And then wakeboarding is anywhere between like 19 to 23 miles an hour.
Wow, half the speed of what we were just going.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, CJ.
That was for fun, going and showing you how
yeah.
insane it can be.
Initial reactions?
That's amazing. Yeah, I also felt very safe though. Like I didn't feel as though I was actually like in any kind of danger. You see those videos of people in their gas boat
And they just fly out.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like that was a problem, but maybe if I was standing, maybe.
Yeah, it rides like a bigger boat because of the low center of gravity, the way we've designed the hull, and just, you know, the weight, the stability you get from the weight of this. But it handles like a much smaller boat.
Yeah.
It handles like a jet boat because of the amount of torque that we have on board, the power.
Dude, being able to turn like that so quickly,
I mean,
that was crazy.
Yeah, like F1 car.
CJ was being a little nice there.
We can do one more.
I wonder what it looked like if he was not nice. Oh my gosh. Pretty light day on the water, pretty chill.
Yeah.
This is our normal Wednesday morning. That was insane. Woo. That was much scarier than the first one.
Yeah,
I think especially being up front, I'm getting thrown around. I thought I was gonna fly. I'm like shaking right now. Are we done now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna get the back.
The Arc Sport has two displays. You have a driver display up here and what we call an entertainment display here. This is fully in-house software. It's a fully in-house design, all configurable. You can toggle between different widgets here for whatever you want to see. Some of the primary features that we have on board, you have your navigation maps here with depth information on them. We have 3 onboard cameras that you can also record from.
Nice.
So if somebody falls,
to surf or something.
Exactly.
If someone wipes out.
or has a nice jump, you could capture that. And then our whole wake system is, again, also in-house and fully controlled and tunable with software. So you could see, hey, I want to surf on the left side of the boat with a mellow wave. You hit go, the entire system configures itself, including setting cruise control, which you see right here. And then a whole bunch of other features on board, heated seats. We could heat the entire cabin. This is not something that you can do on gas boats because that would churn through your low voltage batteries. For us, we have a 226 kilowatt hour, 800 volt battery on board that pretty much powers everything on board. So you can, you can keep those heated seats on for a really long time. It also powers the onboard thrusters. And then this entire tower, this carbon fiber hardtop tower, is unlike anything else in the industry and retracts down into the hull to close out this cabin. So on a cold day, you've got your heated seats. That tower comes down to close this out, and you have a door that you can put right there to really enclose this into a cabin. Again, unlike anything on the water today. Every wake sport boat has a tower because you want to be able to tow from that high tow point up there. Every wake sport boat also needs to be able to retract that tower because you go under bridges, you go on a trailer, you go on a boat lift, you need to be able to bring that tow point down. Historically, what people have done is it's controlled by screws. So you just like unscrew a bolt on your tower. It's like a bent tube frame and it folds down and now you can't really use your boat anymore. The nicest boats on the water today, the ones selling for $300,000+, have powered towers that still kind of retract down and limit your usability of the boat. What we've done is kind of see where the industry is going and jumped multiple steps ahead. It's a fully carbon fiber hardtop tower, which gives you storage underneath and on top. It gives you camera feed there. And again, this is a usable experience even in the tower retracted position, which is not common for the industry today. Nobody else has a hardtop tower. Nobody makes it usable when it's in a retracted position. And so this is a huge leap forward for the industry. So that's the entertainment display. Up here on the driver display, you've got depth information, water temp, a lot of basics, including a rudder indicator you see on the bottom here. And then you could toggle between camera feeds up here as well. So as I'm driving, I might have one camera feed pointing back at the rider and another pointing up in front of me. Or I might have the wake system up here and this camera pointing out behind me. Incredible software relative to where the industry is at today, and we are just getting started.
That's insane. Can this software be with any other boat, or is it specific only for ARC?
Very specific to ARC.
Okay.
This leverages all these different sensors that we have on board. Everything can be updated over the air and is routinely updated over the air.
Right.
So this is one of the only boats in the world that you buy that gets better with age. We are rolling out a whole suite of new features, including giving you the ability to steer in reverse, giving you the ability to hit a button and the boat will just stay stationary without an anchor. The recording studio that I mentioned is coming to customers very soon. We can even push over there updates that control the throttle behavior so that you can customize that to the environment that you're in. So if you're in a marina, it might respond different than if you're, ripping around an open lake.
I've never seen anything like this. I've been on a bunch of boats like in Austin, Lake Travis, Lake Austin, and nothing comes close.
Right.
I feel like
this is hands down the best boat on the water today. And again, we're just getting started.
And
you could view this as the platform.
too.
I mean, because I've been, we have a lot of data to back this up as well in terms of how quickly we sell these. It doesn't take many demos for somebody to convert. So this boat starts at $268,000.
Right.
That sounds like a lot. It is a lot in absolute sense, but when you look at the market today, that's what premium boats go for. Yeah. You could easily buy a wake sport boat for $400,000+, and then you have to spend $10,000 a year on fuel, on maintenance, on winterization. You get this one for less than that. The operating costs go down, the reliability goes up, the maintenance headache goes away, and it gets better over time. And you can hold a conversation, and it handles better, and it throws a better wake because it's all configurable like this. Like, that's a no-brainer.
You're making me think, how can I afford a boat?
Yeah, right. We have a lot of those reactions. The next product we're bringing to market is a repackaged Arc Sport. It's, same sort of battery pack, same motor, same inverter, same telematics system, PCBA, the stuff powering these displays. Like, this is all just carries over, and which means that we could bring it to market in a matter of months rather than years. And we plan to do that.
What is the feedback that you've heard, like customers' favorite thing that you've heard most consistently?
It's hard to point at one. I would say there are like probably 2 to 3 magic moments. The first is you get on it and the absence of sound is striking for people. Yeah. And we've had people, I know one particular customer that walked away from a large deposit on a gas boat to buy one of these because of the noise alone. It was just such a...
Yeah, and like when we say sound, we say noise, it's the absence of those things.
Right.
It's literally silent. It's not, there's no noise.
Right. And then when you punch the throttle for the first time and you feel that this boat whips around and handles like a jet boat, that's the second magic moment. But I think the most compelling one is when you walk off the boat and you start thinking about what it's like to own a boat like this. You park it at your dock, you plug it in, and every morning it's ready to go. It's like a car that you only ever use for commuting. That's a way better experience than lugging gas cans down to a dock. And in Austin, that is the #1 selling point. I do not need to lug gas cans down to a dock or go 30 minutes to the one marina on the lake and pay $8 a gallon to fill up my 80-gallon gas tank. If you're up in the northern part of the country, it's maintenance. You walk off the boat and you're like, wait, I don't need to winterize this? And the telematics system ensures that my boat is always healthy so that when I walk down to it, I'm not surprised of, oh, my boat won't turn on. That is a way better experience. And so that's truly the answer, is like you walk off the boat and it's, as you start to sit with the idea of owning one of these boats, you're like, this is a no-brainer. The last thing that we didn't get to was just the thruster system on board. And again, this is very unique to this boat, that we have one in the front part of the boat and one on the back part of the boat. So what that allows you to do is I hold this sideways and the boat can just start walking sideways, or I twist it and now I could just kind of spin in a circle. Crazy. So if I want to go pick up, somebody there, or somebody drops in the water, but I actually want to head out this way, rather than dealing with this, I'm just using this and it becomes a video game. And
it's like a joystick.
Docking a boat, trailering a boat gets so much easier when you have complete control over this maneuverability at low speeds. Once you're out there, if you want to mellow out the wave, if you want it a little bit steeper, you're just kind of tuning it here. If you want to switch which side you're riding on while you're out there, you could do that by just switching these trim tabs. Our goal is to make this as intuitive and as easy as possible for anyone from a first-time wake surfer to somebody that goes out every day.
Awesome. That's so sick.
All right, we're going to get back to our interview with Mitch here in just a second, but we want to take some time to talk about Miramar Health. If you're a veteran or if you know one struggling with addiction or mental health, there's a place built just for you. It's called Miramar Health, veteran-owned and operated recovery center in Southern California, exclusively serving veterans.
Their mission is bold and simple: to free veterans from America's mental health and addiction crisis and empower them to build a better future for themselves and their families.
With a 6-to-1 veteran to clinician ratio and 5 locations, mostly inside of homes, Miramar offers structured, compassionate care from people who get it because they've lived it. Veterans helping veterans.
From your first call to your first day of treatment, Miramar's team will walk with you or your loved one through every step of the journey. Virtual tours, personalized plans, and real support that doesn't end when the treatment does.
If you work in the VA, a veteran service org, or just care about someone who's hurting, tell them about Miramar Health. This is where healing begins. And this personally really means a lot to me. My great-grandfather's a veteran, my grandfather is a veteran, my dad is also a veteran. Our family deeply cares for people who've served this country, and we know also that Miramar Health does as well. So check out, please, miramarhealth.com if you or you know anyone who's struggling with addiction recovery. But back to the interview here with our friend Mitch in Long Beach, California.
I wonder what the other boaters out here, do they have their nose up in the air to ARC, or do they
No,
fully embrace?
most people are stopping us to ask about it. Like, is that an electric boat? That's so cool. I think that we have the benefit of, a dozen years of people getting acclimated to electric cars.
Yeah.
You tell somebody this is an electric boat, and their mind is already primed for, oh, wow, this makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And then the more you think about it, you're like, oh, wait, all these marinas already have power to them. And I don't actually use my boat that long, and I want to be able to hold a conversation, and I can't on a gas boat. And oh, you don't have the fumes, and wait, do you need to winterize it? No? Oh my goodness. Like,
Yeah.
and like, I spent $300 to go out on the lake with friends in fuel costs.
Right.
What does that go down to with electric? You just tell somebody this, and their mind starts racing through all those ideas. And
Yeah. How long does it take to charge this boat?
we say overnight.
Okay.
So a big day out on the water might be 4 to 6 hours for a boat like this.
Right.
You go out at 8 a.m., you come back at 1 p.m., or a lot of people it's like 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. or something. Plug it in. Assuming you were out on the water for 6 hours, that means 18 hours to recharge. So level 2 charging, even with a battery of this size, is still a great solution. We have people in lifted trucks that are these like gas guzzling vehicles that have.
I have a diesel truck. It's not mine, it's my dad's, but it's diesel. So.
Yeah.
And
It's dad's when it needs to be his dad's, and it's his when it needs to be his.
That's convenient. Sorry, go ahead.
They'll roll up to a demo, and it's not about the environment for them. It's about, wait, I could talk to surfers behind the boat, or I can like hear myself think when we're going 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
How is the fuel economy of this compared to a gas boat?
It depends on your electricity rates, but we generally cite that it's 5 to 10 times lower. Like,
Wow.
That's insane.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Is that like a key kind of selling point for a lot of people to switch?
It's one of many sweeteners on it. I think a lot of people, if you think about a boat, like you have some sort of season. Let's say that you're in Lake Washington up in Seattle. You've got 8 to 12 weeks of good weather. You do not want to miss that. So reliability is a really big deal.
Right.
And the maintenance headache of boats is a really big deal. There are all these phrases in the boating industry like the best days of a boat owner's life are the day they buy it and the day they sell it, because it's such a maintenance headache. And so one of the biggest selling points is like the reduction in maintenance overhead and the increase in reliability of the boat, and that you can hold a conversation on it.
Yeah.
That you're not inhaling fumes. If you have kids and they're hanging out on back, like you don't want, all those fumes coming out.
Carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that I, definitely have firsthand experience with as a kid.
Really?
What kind of emissions is this putting into the water? I'm assuming zero.
Zero.
It's electric.
Yeah.
Because
compared
both
to
like
gas
water
boat.
and air, and so
Right.
for emissions.
It's no emissions. It's just a propeller that's.
And gas boat is just putting those right into the water.
It literally exhausts down into the water. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's obviously emissions eventually bubble up to the air, but like it's also just dirty particulates, and you'll see like oil slicks behind
Yeah.
boats and everything. So.
Wow.
Yeah, and I feel like we've gotten away a little bit from this question, but like, what is ARC? What's the mission?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?
So we are on a mission to electrify the marine industry, to modernize it. And the way that we're doing that is we are building vertically integrated boats centered around an electric powertrain with software layered at every level of the experience. We're starting with the consumer market. This is our hero product that we've introduced in our ramping production around. It's called the ARC Sport, fully electric wake sport boat. One of the most popular markets in the US today. And from here, we're expanding into other consumer segments, and then we're also using the consumer market as a foothold to get up into commercial.
Okay.
So everything on the water that floats, we want to go modernize and electrify.
What's the best lesson you've learned from building ARC as a founder?
Humility.
Really?
I think it's this is one of those ideas that's incredibly obvious. There are a million people in the US that have said somebody should make Tesla for boats. And the hard part is how do you go execute against that? Like, again, every boat on the water should be built around an electric powertrain. Even if you have other hybrid sources of fuel on board, you still want that powertrain to be electric. You want the boat itself to be software enabled. You want the manufacturing techniques to be modernized behind it. The hard part is, like, boats consume a lot of power moving through water. So that means that you need a lot of energy on board to solve for that. And that means big battery packs, big battery buffers on board. You're like, okay, great, we could go build a big battery pack, but then it's all these second order problems. That big battery pack is heavy, it's expensive, it's volumetrically large. You need to then build the boat around the battery pack in the same way that in early EVs, like, they only really got compelling when people started building the car around the battery pack. That's what we're doing for boats. And in the process of doing this, a very simple idea where we're like, that should be pretty easy, has turned into 4 years of us working around the clock to, just reach the starting line of the Arc Sport.
Yeah.
But at this point, I mean, that also translates to moat. The reason that you don't see electric boats everywhere is because what we were doing is incredibly hard. And we had our first boat on the water 3 months after starting the company.
No way.
And,
is that supposed to be like that quick, or is that?
No.
How does that happen?
Now, I will say,
Sinking.
I don't want you to have this vision of this beautiful, nicely painted boat. It was an engineering mule, but we still, I mean, it's that mentality over how do you learn as quickly as possible? How do you get something that just floats and is electrically propelled on the water, because you'll learn so much from that process.
Yeah.
And then from there, got the Arc 1 on the water, 6 months later, and it just, the pace has kind of kept up.
Do you have any of those early day stories from when you're building that first boat before it went on the water? Late nights, stuff like that?
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely plenty of late nights. We've reasoned a lot from first principles. And there are certain areas where we probably could have reasoned less from first principles and drawn a little more inspiration from 100 years of the art form of boat building. And we have since, learned those lessons many times over, and I think we are starting to push the boundary of what it means, like, to build boats.
You're setting the tone, the new tone.
We are now, certainly. But it took us some learning cycles there. Getting the first battery packs online, it was a new challenge to us, and a lot of setbacks along the way, a lot of frustrations along the way.
Where is the battery on board? Is it underneath our feet right now?
I'm basically sitting on it.
Okay.
So one of the cool things about what we do is we start building at the module level, which are, well-tested building blocks of battery packs. From there, we assemble them into battery packs. And the cool part about doing that is that on the Arc 1, our battery packs were flat packs. There was one in front and back here that created the floor of the boat. On the Arc Sport, we transitioned into a different geometry of the battery pack using the same modules. So it was a lot of the same technology. We could repackage it into a different shape very quickly. And that's kind of our pitch here, is that what we're doing is building the primitives that you need to go electrify every part of the marine industry. And again, on the Arc Sport, it's sitting under here. We did that because on this particular boat, you want to throw a really great wake. And so having your center of gravity shifted back a little is helpful for that.
And you guys have the ability to shift the weight of...
Right.
So the ride height is different and the wake is different for each rider.
Boats are a lot like planes. Think of them like planes rather than like cars. This is actually called a planing boat because when it accelerates, it kind of takes off and then gets up on the plane like this. You want to be able to control your pitch, your roll, and your yaw. And we have the ability to control all three of those on board. And then, actually how far you sit into the water as well. We have control surfaces that are underneath the back of the boat. They kind of look like wing flaps. And those allow you to control your pitch and your yaw. And then to control your roll, we have ballast bags on board. And we will ingest some water and weight them differently in order to kind of tilt the boat a little like this. So you could kind of tilt your boat back like this to throw a really compelling wave back on this side. Any recommendations, CJ?
Let's do surf right steep.
Okay, we will surf on the right side steep. So I just hit go. What you see is it's filling the 3 ballast bags that we have on board. And again, that's primarily controlling total weight of the boat and the roll of the boat. That left tab here helps with the yaw of the boat. And then the center tab is your pitch, which actually controls kind of how steep that wave is. And again, we have a lot of sensors on board to know When we say a ballast bag is 50% full, we have some level of precision over that. The good news is this system is much faster than most boats. We talk to a lot of customers that have ballast systems, and usually it's a 10-minute process. So they get out onto the water and now they're killing time just kind of waiting for their ballast system to fill up. In our case, it's under 2 to 3 minutes. So it's filling up a ballast bag in the front, it's filling up one on the right side, and then it's partially filling up one on the left side. And again, that's that roll control that you want, while it's also adding total weight to the boat. So now the left side of the boat is full. The forward ballast bag, which is a little bit smaller than the right side ballast bag, is starting to fill up. And the right ballast will be the last one. So that one just stopped. And this one is nearly done. And so if we had a surfer, we'd already be telling them to hop in the water. You could surf that wave, drop a rope.
Yeah.
And again, it's all configurable here. So if you're like, actually, that's a little steep for me, I want something a little more mellow, then you deploy that trim tab and it'll mellow out a little. And you can do this all on the fly. We can even swap the side of the wave that it's on.
Wow.
Can other boats do that, or is that exclusive to ARC?
Other boats can do a version of this.
Okay.
What makes what we're doing special on this boat is how much software is involved, how many sensors are involved in doing that, to make this very straightforward. Because on other boats, it's kind of, one of these sorts of things. I filled this ballast bag for 30 seconds, and I think that's going to be good.
Okay.
With us, it's touch of a button. I want to surf on that side of the boat at this ride height. You hit a button, boat configures itself to do exactly that. Or you say, I'm Mitch, I like to wakeboard at this speed and with this much ballast on board, and you just save a Mitch wakeboarding profile, you hit go, and it just totally configures everything, including the cruise control on board, so that driver just kind of pushes the throttle down, and the boat is completely configured for me.
Like if Josiah was going to get on there, like, all right, Josiah's up.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy mode, like kid mode.
Yeah.